Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you are new here. I am your host, Davin James, glad to be here with all of you guys here today. If you are new here, please remember to like, subscribe and comment, hit that bell for notifications, that way you don't miss any future content from my channel. So yesterday evening, I came across an article, a Netflix 3-part documentary. We're going to be focusing on the Zodiac Killer, one of true crime's greatest mysteries, if you will. This documentary is set to come out on the 23rd of October, so mark your calendars down for that. So with that being said, let's get on with today's episode, shall we? Netflix has acquired the 3-part docuseries This Is the Zodiac speaking, which promises new insight about the unsolved murder case of the Zodiac Killer. The series, which comes from Ample Entertainment and is directed by Mark, I think I got it right, and Phill Lott, offers up new interviews and clues that places even more evidence that the only person to ever be named a suspect, Arthur Leah Allen, may likely be the true culprit. There's only a handful of real murder case IP that are not only quintessentially, I don't know how you pronounce that word, it's a big long word for that, for sure, American, but really define an era, Mark said. The Zodiac case, he said, also defines the true crime genre in a lot of ways. For me anyway, I don't know about you guys listening to this, or watching this rather, but when I was a kid, I remember E! Entertainment, the TV channel, for those who might know our channel, way before they started doing like reality TV and all that crap, they did some solid true crime documentaries on that channel. And I remember coming across the story about the Zodiac Killer, and I was really fascinated about it. Like, I was just a young kid at the time, but I remember watching it. I was like really fascinated about the Zodiac Killer. I haven't known nothing about it before. I just came across it by chance. And the more I started watching, the more I started hearing about the Zodiac Killer and learning about the Zodiac Killer, I became really fascinated over it. Which is probably a bad thing to say out loud, but nonetheless, it's true. And that's probably what got me interested in true crime. And that's probably what got me started with my true crime obsession. Again, probably not a thing you want to say out loud, but nonetheless, it's true. Like before Netflix started doing documentaries, before YouTube started streaming true crime trials, there was this documentary I discovered on E! Network, or E! Entertainment, whatever it was called, that I just happened to come across at a young age. So in some ways, if it wasn't for that documentary, or me discovering that documentary at the time, I don't remember what it was called. I just remember it was on E! Entertainment Network, and it was something to do with the Zodiac Killer. But if it wasn't for that, I probably would have never gotten into true crime. Maybe that's probably dramatic, because these days you got like, again, YouTube, you got Netflix, and you got other streaming platforms that probably do true crime documentaries. But nonetheless, I feel strongly in saying that this is where I got my interest for true crime. I'm excited for this series to drop on Netflix. I knew nothing about this beforehand. I came across this article like yesterday at the time this was recorded, late yesterday evening or night. And I was like, wait, is Zodiac Killer documentary happening? Why haven't I heard about it sooner? Like, what the hell, Netflix? Like, I'm your loyal customer. Like, why haven't you told me about it sooner? In this series, tentatively scheduled to drop on October 23rd, Mark and Lott speak to a California family who once had Allen as a teacher, as well as family friends of the suspect, as they go through archive and physical evidence owned by the family. They connect more dots between Allen and also the Zodiac murders. So I really don't know anything about this Allen person. I might have heard of him being a suspect because over the years there's been a number of articles saying, oh, this could be the Zodiac Killer, or this could be the Zodiac Killer. Evidence points towards this person being the Zodiac Killer. Sort of like a dead end, if you will. Like, there's no follow-up to that or any other coverage on that story. I think that's one of the things that fascinated me most about the Zodiac Killer, was that in mind games with authorities and whatnot, leaving clues behind. That their identity was never discovered, you know, apparently anyway. That's always been an interesting story to me to want to talk about to other people. Like, hey, have you heard about the Zodiac Killer? You know, if you're a fan of true crime, have you heard about this person? If not, I really recommend going to look some stories up about him, or they, whoever it is. Lott noted that the family started to piece things together after watching David Fincher's 2007 film about the murders, Zodiac, which was a good film. Don't remember it that much. I know it didn't do well at the box office, but I found it to be an interesting film. I really need to go back and watch that at some point as well. Good star cast. Fletcher filmed at the real site of the murders, and they realised maybe he was really the Zodiac Killer, because he took us to all these places, Mark said. And they started uncovering all these letters he had been writing back and forth with the mother that are the most incriminating letters in the world. Mark and Lott also had access to Arthur Robert Graysmith, who wrote the book that adapted into Fincher's film. We had access with him in a way that nobody has really had. He really put this in perspective for us. Mark and Lott also executive produced This Is the Zodiac Speaking. The title is a riff on how the killer would start every letter, along with P.G. Morgan. A lot of this material is brand new, Lott said. It hasn't been seen before because when Alan died, there was no more investigation from a law enforcement perspective. So there's no one really to send it. to. So we got to look at all these letters and read the crazy, very incriminating material. As I mentioned earlier, I'm very fascinated on this story. I cannot wait to watch the documentary when it drops on Netflix later next month. I'm very excited to see what kind of unravelment we get from that documentary, if anything. Today, I'd like to know your guys' thoughts on this. Have you got an interest into true crime? What's your favourite true crime story? Whether it be a documentary, it could be a YouTube channel that might cover true crime. Do you have any interest in checking out this documentary about the Zodiac Killer when it drops next month on Netflix? Either way, let me know your thoughts down below. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye for now.